Welcome to episode 12 of the Warrior Pulse. I am your host, Trey Heath, the men's and women's tennis coach here at Weber. And today it is my distinct pleasure to speak with Jay Culver. Jay Culver is a 2005 and a 2007 graduate of Weber. He is an OG here, although he looks quite young. He got 2 degrees, both of them in sport business management, and we're going to talk to Jay about his history of being a Weber athlete, of being a Weber employee, what he's seen good and bad, and kind of his goals for the future with Weber. But first and foremost, Jay, I'm going to start off because I know you were a relief pitcher. I'm going to start off with this quote, and you can tell me how it works with you in business. I became a good pitcher when I stopped trying to make them miss the ball and started trying to make them hit it. Sandy Koufax. What does that mean to you as you were a relief pitcher?
Sure, Trey. Well, first of all, thanks for having me here. It's I've watched this. I think this is a great podcast. It's a great addition to the Weber Athletics. I think there's a passion project for you spoke about, and it's really taken off. A lot of people are subscribing to it. I listen to all of them, and it's really good. But back to your question, I think what it means to me is I think you gotta get everyone involved. You gotta let everyone do what they're supposed to do. As in baseball, I never would have thought of that prior to this, but as a in the business world and administrator here, I think that's come more true lately. You really have to get everyone involved and let the people do what it is that they are supposed to be doing. And we've seen that in all aspects of the school where things are growing, and now we're doing some different projects, things like this, in the athletic department, everything from the cafeteria. We're letting them kind of spread their wings and showing us what they can do.
Yeah, you're right about everything growing. I went up to the bookstore the other day and there was no bookstore. It was gutted, and they're fixing it up. So let's go back to the beginning. You graduated in 2005, but why did you come to Weber in the first? How did you end up here?
Sure, it's I'm from a local person. I'm from Haines City, from Polk County, and I was looking for a place to play, and Weber just fit. A lot of the people on the podcast and a lot of people who are interviewed say the same thing. It makes you feel like home, and that's what it did. I was recruited by Coach Garrett, legendary Coach Garrett, who's still here, and Brad Niemer, who was on earlier, and they've become close friends of mine now that I've graduated and come on. But they made it feel like home. This is a place that I really wanted to be. It's a small school. Everyone treats everyone like family, and there's help when you need it, and if you need it, there's always someone here to help out.
So you played here, and sometimes you played here and you stayed here, but you were a relief pitcher, and I follow a podcast of he was a relief pitcher for the Houston Astros. He was with the Red Sox this year, and he always talks about the life of a reliever. I feel like the reliever has so much pressure on them. When you got called into the game as a relief pitcher, did you feel like, yeah, it's my time, or, oh, Lord, it's my time? And how have you translated that to operating as an administrator here at Weber?
That's kind of what a relief pitcher is. You get called in unlikely circumstances, and that's what you're there for. When I was in school, we had a few other relievers. We got together. We were the crisis crew. When things got in trouble, when games getting in trouble or things get intense, late in the innings or late in the game, that's when we're called upon, and that's bases loaded late in the game or just close games, and that's kind of what we wanted to do, and that's kind of how I see some of the job now. Like, there's a lot of things most people wouldn't necessarily like to do, and I don't necessarily like to do, but I know that's kind of how you have to do and how you have to be in the business world. It's a weird thing, and it's not for everybody, I'll tell you that. And because I've coached here as well, and I've had many players who thought that's what they wanted to do until that's what they had to do.
So who's quirkier, before we move on, who's quirkier, a starting pitcher or a reliever?
Hands down, it's a left-handed pitcher no matter what it is. So the most quirky person is a left-hand pitcher, but something's just not, a reliever or a closer, there's always something that's just not right about them. And you just have to embrace it, man. You can't fix them, man. That's just what they do.
So you graduated in 2005 with your undergraduate in sport business management. Was it immediate that you were going to get your MBA, or what caused that to be important to you to continue the education process? Because you can go out and live life with just the undergraduate degree. What were you doing besides playing baseball? Did you have any other jobs? And what made you feel that getting that master's was important?
Sure. Initially I had no plans on getting my MBA. I was working at Toys R Us throughout school. I did my internship at Disney's Wide World of Sports, and I tell you what, that really put it in perspective how big the industry is and all the jobs that it entail in the sport industry, and how much work it is. Working at Toys R Us is nothing like working at Disney, but I was doing that, and then I came on as a bookstore manager and coaching, and it was a part of the package. You get free tuition to do an MBA, so I'm like, and I was fresh out of school, so I think I better keep the ball rolling. And looking back, it was one of the better decisions I've made. My dad was a big proponent. Like, you got to do it. You got to do it. And I wasn't really interested in it because I was pretty well done with school. But now I'm thinking about doing my doctorate at that point.
Cool.
So I'm really, I'm still trying to push myself into that. And of course, now I have to pay for that. So that's a little bit different. But doing the MBA initially started as one of the packages, as part of the package of working here, one of the benefits. But at the end of the day, it was a really, really great idea on my part.
All right, so now we're going to go off the rails because you hit so many amazing things. One, yes, you have to pay for your doctorate, and you're also paying for this little cute Bambino. Congratulations on the new addition to the family.
Thank you.
And the other one was, what's your favorite toy at Toys R Us?
I tell you what, I knew you were going to go there. Everyone who knows me knows that I'm a huge Superman fan. So I have a new baby girl, and I'm determined to make her a Superman fan as well. She has all the outfits from newborn all the way to 24 months, so she's ready. So that's what we're focusing on. But yeah, that was my favorite toy growing up, Superman, and that's just where I am.
How many Superman toys do you have?
Actually, when I first met my wife, she came over the house, and I had a whole room set up with my collection on the walls, and she was a little bit weirded out. It was a lot. I couldn't tell you the exact number, but just recently, it was last weekend actually, as a matter of fact, I had to box them all up, and they're now in the attic, safely secure in the attic, but there's a couple boxes full.
All right, so since your favorite superhero is Superman, I thought I knew that. I actually reached out to one of your good friends, also a relative of mine, and he never answered, which is not unusual, but I took a guess. So I have a quote from the Superman, Christopher Reeves. And tell me what you think about this. I think a hero is an ordinary individual who finds strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles. What does that mean to you, especially here in Weber?
I think that's right. He hit the nail on the head with that. What I think that means is, there with so much going on in the world and so many people having different things going on in lives, when you initially think about a superhero, you think about something like Superman, Batman, something like that. But it's not. I mean, it's really just taking care of your family, putting food on the table, coming to work on a job that you may not like necessarily, but you come here and you're passionate about it, and you do what you're supposed to do. It's not these out of the ordinary things, these extraordinary things. It's really the day-to-day things and prioritizing and what's important to you.
Why you played baseball, you coached it while you were working at the bookstore, which you've obviously seen the changes that are occurring in the bookstore. But why didn't you go that coaching route?
I did that for many years. I was passionate about baseball. I love the sport, and a lot of the time I was in the bookstore and coaching, and I was very comfortable, and I think that's the word. And there became a time when I just knew that wasn't something I was going to do forever. I love being here at Weber. I love being in the area, and I didn't want to leave. And I know in order to, Coach Hammer was here, and he was kind of a staple in the program, and I don't know that I was ever ready to advance to be a head coach. Some other opportunities opened here on campus, and I was doing student life, and I was doing student activities and things like that. And like I said, I wanted to stay here, and a position open, and I thought, let me try that, Dean of Students. I wasn't sure I was going to be good at it. I don't know that I am great at it, but I am passionate about the place and I'm passionate about the students. And I think that's what's most important is that here we had to find somebody who's very passionate about the students, and that's why I feel like I fit in here.
What drives that passion for the students and Weber for you? I mean, you came here as a student. Yes, you're local and you kind of been here, but what drives that passion? That's the part that it's hard to get people to explain that, but what is it for you that makes Weber like, I'm here and this is where I'm going to be?
I don't know that you can put it in words. I think when you pull up on campus and you see the place, that initially takes your breath away. You're like, this is it. And if this is what you're looking for, I don't know. It's everything from the people, from the housekeepers to Dr. Wade, to the CEO. Everything from the students who they come here and you watch them as a freshman and grow into adults, and you're like, you watch the transition. It's people like yourselves and people that honestly care about the university, care about the students, and care to see them be successful. Not necessarily to better themselves. They are going to better themselves, but I mean the people who work here are passionate about it, and for no other reason because they just care. Yeah. And you don't find that at other places, and that's what we're selling to students, and that's what I try to make sure we realize that we're selling to students, and that's what I try to convey to parents, is that you're trusting us with your son or daughter, and we want to make sure that they're going to get to the end line, which is graduation. They're going to be successful and be hireable, employable, I guess.
I've been here off and on for many years as well, and some of the jobs that you have had, you were an athlete, you worked in the bookstore, you were a coach, you worked in student activities, which is a blast. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you get to go hang out with the students, and sometimes those 2 o'clock in the mornings are a little tough. Working in admissions, working with the alumni, then you transition to take the job of Dean of Students, which is now VP of Student Life. Okay, did you ever see yourself as in a school administration as a VP position? And also, what is that role? What is that?
I remember sitting in graduation thinking, what am I going to do now? Hopefully I can stay on at Toys R Us for a while. I really like that job.
Can't go wrong with Jeffrey.
Yeah, you can't. And but I just, I had no plans really after college. So I was working there, and then the position opened here, and I thought, great, I'll start with that. No idea what I was going to do, and I moved on and progressed, and the good news is that they entrusted me with all those positions, and everything I did with the different managers and different heads of the department in those locations, and I got a great head start with Brad. He led me with management styles and things. You learn different things from different people, and I took a little bit of this and a little bit of that from my parents. They taught me a lot of stuff, and so you take a little bit of everything, and there's no way in the world would I have thought I'd be here today doing this, but the role of VP of Student Life is amazing. I'm really passionate about it still. I'm still kind of blown away that I got it, but I work hard at it every day, and that entails everything that's student facing, is what we call it. Nothing athletics, nothing academic, but everything else, from food service to security, from dorms to student activities. Anything that the students may have a problem with, we try to take care of. And then we do a little bit more outside of that. We want to make, with COVID, we ended up taking care of that. So anything that happens with COVID and quarantines and any of those things. So a lot falls on my plate, and you name it, I have my finger in it.
Do you think that because you were a student, and without going into a lot of detail, you had a lot of fun with some of my relatives while you were a student, do you think that you have a really good grasp of when a student comes in, you're like, yeah, I got you? And tell me how that experience of being a student and an athlete, which so many are here, how that helps you with your role.
Yeah, and it's funny watching the freshmen come in. They're a little bit timid, or you can see a couple that are a little bit more advanced, and you're like, or a little bit more farther along in the process because maybe they've done this or that. But I wouldn't say that I've got them all nailed down, that I think that person's going to be this, and this. But you can tell that some people are going to struggle along the way, and we try to do a little bit of extra job of mentoring them and leading them along the way. But from being a college student here, where I was the same way as a freshman, you can see the freshmen as they come in and as they transition and transfer and get older and more mature and grow as people and adults. Being a student here was the same thing. I went back actually just this week and I looked at my freshman picture in the playbook there, and I was like, good Lord. And I looked at my senior picture because I found that and I went, wow, okay, so I did the same thing. And here we are continuing to grow. But I think we try to do the best we can to make sure the students have the most fun. As I get older, I tend to think I know what the students want, but I don't. So we have hired some really great staff to do that along the way. And that's the best I can tell you, is that it's fun watching the students grow, but it's also fun watching them at graduation. I spoke with one of the students at graduation, and I told him, I said, I'm really proud of you for how far you've come along with this. But as a freshman, I wasn't sure you're going to get past your first semester.
Yeah.
I mean, they struggle with time management. They struggle with, getting work done. They struggle with their sport, because in high school, everyone's the best player on their team. And then they get here and there's some grown folks, there's some dudes, some guys that can play, some older guys, some 23, 24-year-old guys, and you come in at 18 and you're not the same. And so, there's a lot of things but you watch them and you mentor them and you get them along the way.
Do you ever look out your back window and think, I've survived, I have arrived? Or is there something else on your plate that you think is driving you towards it? I know you have some outside interests that you do for fun and hobbies and that kind of stuff. Are any of those driving you to maybe you'll pursue some of those one day?
I do have a couple hobbies outside, but I think right now I'm really happy where I'm at. I do want to, like I said, do my doctorate. I do want to advance my career at some point. I don't know what that means and where that would take me, but what I do in my hobbies is really just because Monday through Sunday it's intense here. I mean, we're always by our phone. Scarlett and I are always by our phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're ready for that call because anything can happen at any point here on campus with the students. Because, I have kids. I have a daughter in college as well. I know what happens in there. So she doesn't think I know that, and I know that from here, and I know here from that. So I have an idea of what goes on. So when I do my hobbies outside of here, I like to relax. That's what I do.
So for the rough 18 years that you've been a part of Weber, I might be off 1 year or two, but you have seen a lot of change. I mean, we've lost staff members that we all loved. We've seen buildings change. We've seen buildings added. We've seen facilities. What has been the greatest accomplishment that you've seen on this campus, or growth? And then also, what is something that you would love to see? Whether it's a pipe dream or what is something you think is missing that you would love to see? Oh man,
I go on and on. This is the most exciting time that I've been a part. Ever since I was a student, we always thought, we needed new dorms, we needed bigger dorms. So we wanted a football field. We wanted, changes to the cafeteria. We wanted all these different things. And when parents come now, and I'm like, I can't tell them fast enough how exciting it is. They don't know any different because they didn't see the school beforehand. But students who have been here for years, like yourself and some of the employees that have been here for many, many years, it's unbelievable. And how quickly it went. We were slow to get things rolling, and then we did, and everything has happened all at once. Everything from renovations to the cafeteria, and I don't think it's ever looked better than it has. The renovations to the dorms, adding the football field. We're getting a Starbucks. It'll be active next week. I mean, these are things that are unbelievable, and I never thought we would see a Starbucks on campus. I mean, we're in Babson Park.
Yeah.
The people of Babson Park are going to be happy with this. And just the area and the way the school looks, it's never looked better. It really shines, glows. The landscaping, the painting, the maintenance, everything is just stepped up, and it's unbelievable now. And so if you haven't been here in a couple years, if there's any alumni listening, or if you have anyone that that hasn't been here in years, tell them to come back. They won't believe it. As for things that I'd like to see in the future, I don't know. I mean, what we have now is just unbelievable. And when we're talking about adding new dorms, because we have our highest enrollment we've ever had. We had a really big problem this semester finding places for people to sleep. You know, there was a 2-week period we had students that were supposed to live on campus we couldn't find beds for, which is a great problem for everybody else except for housing.
Yeah.
But we were able to navigate it and make sure it worked. So maybe that may be the next thing. We're going to redo the health center and really get that working. We're working with Advent Health and a few other places to see if we can really expand that thing. We have a counselor on campus. I could go on and on and on. The changes to the campus are night and day, and you really wouldn't believe it unless you saw it before and you see it now.
Do you have leave that off for a second. Do you have a dream? Do you have a dream thing? Like, to me, I would want indoor tennis courts. That's a dream. Mm-hmm. Or put us across the street. That's a dream. But for you, like, do you see anything?
I'd really like to expand the dorms and the student offerings. I think as we start to grow our university, we're going to have different type of students. We're going to have some more non-athletes, and us as a Weber International University, we aren't really sure how to take those yet. And we're growing, we're learning. So as we start getting nursing, as we start getting some of these other health type degrees, they're going to require and want different things, which is sort of how we're starting to transition with the Starbucks and the learning commons and places to study and interactive areas where people can do collaborations together and start to learn. I would like to start doing things like that, and start expanding across the street. I'd like to get to a place where we need more space. We're out of room. Weber has a huge campus, things that are undeveloped at the time, but start to grow and get things like that.
Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, and we have talked many times off camera, and we spend a lot of time. For those that don't know, Jay was here when my father was here. He went to school with my brother. He's a Babson Parkian, so we spend a lot of time socially together. But I'm going to leave you with this kind of my ending thing. What does it mean to you to be a warrior?
To be a warrior, I think a Weber warrior. That's the question. I think to be a Weber warrior, you got to be passionate about what you do. You've got to have a love for this place, and I think family is at the heart of a Weber warrior. I think you got to embrace the people around you. They're going to do the same for you, whether it's faculty, staff, or students. That's it. I mean, there's 4 people in this room right now that have graduated from here that are still working, not to mention the countless other people. It's a family, and it embraces you, and you don't want to leave, and that's where we want you to be. A Weber warrior is a warrior for life, I can tell you that.
Very good. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining me for episode 12 of the Warrior Pulse. We are almost at the end of January. Hope your year is starting off great, and I hope that your February is fantastic. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.